A brilliant performance, of which the foundation was how well United kept the ball. This is after 37 seconds, and we can see how United's possession formation is outnumbering Liverpool 7-5. The first issue this gave Liverpool was they couldn't put pressure on the ball because their top line was having to stand between United players to cover the overload. The second issue was, and I highlighted this in my analysis of the City game, how Amorim's system arcs around the modern narrow defensive formation. So, if there is no entry into the pivot, we can beat the top line press by playing around it. The ball has come out to Martinez, and we can see how Salah pressing him has opened Dalot up on the flank. Trent gets there too late, and we are able to get up the pitch. Basic stuff, but this took away Liverpool's press and allowed United to keep the ball. Again, we have another 7v5 overload in United's favour, and we can see how the numerical advantage United have makes it almost impossible for Liverpool to press. Martinez is on the ball, and we can see that Liverpool have attempted to press, but this again opened Dalot up. There has been a lot of talk around what Amorim did differently. The reality is, United's setup was no different to what we have seen in other games. The difference was the execution. This is basic play that Sporting would do under Amorim. Dalot has no entry point into the front line, so it's a quick recycle via the pivot and outside centre-back out to the other side where Mazraoui has space. I highlighted these quick switches in my analysis of the Sporting City game. Again, basic stuff, but an effective way to keep possession. Numerous times I have highlighted how and where Amorim's system creates space. I have already covered how the wing-backs are always open because of the narrow defensive formations most teams use. But it's the space created for the pivots due to the 2-10 setup that we saw United try to exploit more in this game. But before I go into the Liverpool game, I want to show you again what was happening in previous games. These examples are against Forest, and we can see that we were turning down passing connections to exploit these spaces. Going back to the Liverpool game, these are some of the patterns used to try and get into those central pockets. The pattern here is a pass into the front line and then back into the pivot to exploit this space. The pass doesn't come off, but that was the pattern. Dalot is playing the ball into Højlund. As he does, Mainoo is moving up into that pocket and Højlund lays it off. Dalot again plays the ball into Højlund and Mainoo moves up into that pocket, but the layoff to Mainoo was off. Although these examples didn't penetrate Liverpool, we could see how United tried to get into those pockets created by the 2-10s holding the opposition's midfield. Now this situation is really interesting. This time, Gravenberch steps up onto Mainoo, which opens the space behind Mainoo for United to progress. This shows the dilemma this setup creates for our opposition. In previous content, where I have highlighted progressive passes being turned down, I had people coming back at me saying that's Amorim's tactics, not the players. This game categorically proved that Amorim wants to create passing connections, to break lines, to create chances. The connections have always been there, but the decision making and/or the execution was lacking. The devil's verdict is, let's get the elephant out of the room. The Hackman was deservedly named man of the match, and by a mile, that was the best he has ever played for United. So was I wrong to call him the Hackman? Not in a million years. Don't focus on the performance of the Hackman or the team. Focus on the dynamics that facilitated this performance. 1, it was away from Old Trafford, which has become toxic. 2 and 3, the players were under no pressure and had nothing to lose. If we lost 4-0, it would have been just another day at the office. 4, they had to play with a desperation because they knew what would happen if they didn't. A massacre. And 5, we won't be playing against Trent next week. They have set the standard to prove everyone that doubts them wrong. Can they sustain it? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.